It's the Second World War, and Paris is occupied by the Germans. A young man is torn apart by a difficult choice. Either run off to join the French resistance and fight for his country, or stay home to look after his mother, who would be very vulnerable without him. If he tries to get to the resistance fighters, he might be captured and killed, so the whole affair would be a waste of time. But on the other hand, if he stays home, others will do the fighting for him. What should he do? What would you do? You would probably say, Google it. But he didn't have a computer, so he just went to a philosopher to ask for advice. Welcome to Personality Matters. I am Anthony Young, and today we will be talking about Jean-Paul Sartre, the philosopher who advised the young man. Sartre was born on the 21st of June in 1905 in Paris. As a child, he had no friends. He was small and cross-eyed, features that followed him throughout his life. He didn't do usual children's activities. He used to go to the park with his mom every day to find friends, but the others didn't want to play with him. So he went home and lost himself in dreams. That was the background that shaped the mind of one of the greatest philosophers of all time. Sartre once said, "If you're lonely when you're alone, you're in bad company." While a student, Jean-Paul Sartre befriended young Simone de Beauvoir, who became not only his co-worker and colleague, but also a long-term companion. Even though they had a lifelong relationship, they never got married and spent plenty of time with other lovers. They described their relationship as essential and all the other relations as contingent or not important. In 1939, the war broke out and Sartre was enlisted into the French army, where he served as a meteorologist. During the war, German troops took him as a prisoner, but finally he obtained the right to return to civilian life and got a teaching job at school. After World War II was over, he emerged as a public intellectual and anti-war activist who spoke out against French rule in Algeria and later condemned the Vietnam War. As he said, when the rich wage war, it's the poor who die. In 1964, Sartre was awarded the Nobel Prize for his contribution to literature. But he refused the prize and thus became the first to do so. For almost all his life, Sartre lived frugally and had few material possessions. He mainly lived in hotels and wrote in cafes. One of them was, and still is, the Deux Magots. So, Sartre influenced the world with his views on human freedom and responsibility. Personality is not based on previous models or a precise purpose, as it is all up to human being to do that. Why? Sartre argued that humans had no essence before they came into existence. As he said, existence precedes essence. Simply put, their being is not predetermined. It is up to everyone to build their own existence, and they carry full responsibility for that. Humans, in his own words, are condemned to be free. So, remember the story about a young man we mentioned at the beginning of the video? Sartre's advice was a bit frustrating. He told the young man that he was free and should choose for himself. If Sartre had given the young man any practical advice about what to do, the young man would have still had to decide whether or not to follow it. According to Sartre's philosophy, only you can decide what to do with your life. If you let other people do that, that is again your choice. Simply put, you choose to be the kind of person others expect you to be. Humans are free to choose what to do and what to become. You choose to do something, you might fail. The reason why it happens might be outside your control. But you are responsible for wanting to do this thing or for trying to do it. Well, yes, freedom is hard to handle, and that's why many people run away from it. According to Sartre, we can't make excuses. We are responsible for what we do daily and how we feel about that. If you are sad now, that's your choice. You are sad, you are responsible for that. We are stuck with this freedom and cannot escape the weight of responsibility of being human. That was a brief insight into some of the philosophical studies Sartre developed. Thank you for watching Personality Matters. We talk about people who made the world, and until next time, I am Anthony Young.